What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I want to talk about leveraging money when rates are low and saving money when rates are high. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for a bunch of videos. Subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for bonus videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account any amount. They got a promo going on right now where if you refer 3 friends, click the little invite button, send it to 3 human beings that you know, Webull's gonna give you a guaranteed $300 of free Apple stock with the opportunity of winning all the way up to $3,000 worth of free Apple stock, which you can take and hold on to, or you can sell and use the cash to buy something that you'd rather have instead. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. All right, so today I want to talk about playing the game. The problem most people have is not only do they not know how to play the game, but they don't know that there's a game that can be played when it comes to the money. When it comes to prioritizing leveraging money or saving money. Now, when I say saving money, I don't mean saving money long term. I don't mean hanging on to dollar bills for a crazy amount of time. I'm talking about when rates are high, you just ride the high yield wave. And when I'm talking about leveraging money, that is something that I will be talking about in this video, but it's not something that makes sense at this time because rates are high at the moment. Leveraging money is a more ideal thing to do when rates are low. So, right now, rates are high. Not only are rates high right now, but they just got cranked up even more in recent weeks. So right now, with rates the highest they've been in a very long time, and still technically on the rise, a lot of people are saving money, myself included. I'm saving my dollar bills, and it's not necessary. It's not exclusively because rates are high. The savings account that I have is currently offering me 4.3%. So for every $1,000 you keep in there, it's giving you 43 bucks. And the CD account that I locked my dollars in, 5%. So for every $1,000 keep in there, it's giving me 50 bucks. I'm not doing it exclusively because rates are high right now. For me, that's just the cherry on top. Now, for me personally, I'm saving currency because I've explained this before. I was originally saving up for something, and then I was saving up for a cargo van, and then I decided for myself, because my job transferred me pretty far away, that it's probably a smarter idea for me to get to upgrade my car and not go for a cargo van. So the reason I was saving up originally was for a cargo van. I decided to get a different car instead. But the savings account that I had opened up specifically for the cargo van, it's still going strong. It's still there, haven't taken a penny out, and I contribute to it on a weekly basis. And when I first opened it up, I couldn't have cared less about the interest. I think the interest at the time was like 2.5 or 2.75 or something like that. And every couple, weeks I've checked in, and the rate has gone up quite a bit. It went from 2.75 to, I think, 2.9, and then 3, 3.1, 3.5, 3.75. It worked its way all the way up to 4.3. It hasn't come down, not yet anyway, but I've been saving my currency with or without a high yield. And it just so happened to turn into the yield getting higher and higher. So right now, I don't know exactly what it is that I'm saving up for. I have a couple of ideas in mind, and until I make my decision, or until rates get slashed, I'm going to keep the currency in there, I'm going to let it build, and I will continue contributing to it on a weekly basis until I make up my mind. But the cherry on top is that right now, rates are extremely high, and I'm currently seeing a 4.3% yield on my saved currency. So while I decide how I want those dollars to be spent, I'm going to ride the high yield wave and make the most of the high rates. But high rates are transitory. High rates are not permanent. These high rates will eventually come down. There will be a day in the, I don't want to say the near future, but the somewhat near future, I would assume within the next 6 to 12 months, where rates start seeing a little bit of a decline. And borrowing money becomes less expensive. Right now, interest is high. High rates. For people with a savings account or a CD account, yeah, okay. That caters to us. But you know who it's not so great for? The people who are borrowing money. The people who are leveraging money. The people who are acquiring debt. And debt doesn't have to be a bad thing, by the way. Debt is not a bad thing. It's not inherently a bad thing. It can be a bad thing. Self-inflicted consumer debt is a bad thing. High interest debt on credit cards by spending currency you don't have and not paying it off before the due date, that's bad. But there is a good kind of debt, and I'll give you an example, because a lot of people, I know all debt is bad debt. That's the most foolish thing a person could say. There's a good type of debt and there's a bad type of debt. We know what the bad type of debt is. The good type of debt, as an example, mortgage on a rental property. Mortgage on a rental property. You're leveraging dollars. You're leveraging money. You're leveraging debt to acquire an asset, building equity within the asset, and as time goes by, tenants are paying it off for you. The tenants are building your equity in the property. It's producing rental income, rental cash flow, passive income rental cash flow, which also, by the way, comes with a plethora of tax write-offs. And ideally, you'd want to do this when rates are low. Even if it's a mortgage for a house for yourself. It doesn't have to be a rental property. Just be your home. Ideally, when rates are low, that's better. Although you could always refinance and whatnot. But it's not the most pleasant time to be leveraging dollars because rates are so high right now. You'd be paying more in interest, which, by the way, interest is another tax write-off, just so you know. But when rates are low, eventually when rates start to decline or when they get slashed and borrowing money, leveraging money becomes cheaper or borderline free like we saw 2 or 3 years ago, that's the more opportune time to leverage dollars. We saw 2020, 2021, we saw rates go down to the point where they pretty much didn't exist. Borrowing money was practically free, and in a lot of situations, borrowing money was actually free. Interest-free borrowing, just to get people consuming again, just to get people spending, just to get people borrowing money to spend on something or somewhere, just to keep the spending going. They made it so that here, it's practically free money to borrow as long as you're paying it back. Don't think we'll see that again, unless something else really bad happens. But these high rates are transitory. These high rates will lower. These high rates will come down. And the lower they go, the better it is to borrow money. whether it be to apply for a loan so you can, I don't know, redo your roof just at your home. Just take care of something that you need to take care of. Maybe get a new car or whatever. Things that just, need to get done. You borrow some money to take care of something. It's better to borrow money to take care of something when rates are low because you're going to be paying less in interest. Well, leveraging money to acquire assets and build equity in something, a business loan, for example, a mortgage, things like that. Leveraging money. Taking on debt to produce cash flow, pay off the debt for you, and once the debt is paid off, the money still keeps coming in. The income doesn't stop when the debt is paid off. That keeps on going. That's how and why people buy rental properties. That's how and why people get business loans to expand and to grow their businesses. They capitalize on low rates, or in rare circumstances, no rates, to expand, to grow, get themselves in a better position, and make the most of low rates. And a lot of these people, when the economy shifts, when something's going on and rates go back up, they begin saving. And they lock up their dollars in CD accounts, potentially. See, that's what I did just as an experiment. I wanted to be able to talk in videos about my experience with a CD account. And so far, so good. I locked in a 5% yield on an 11-month term, and it matures in February of next year. So what's that, like 6 months from now? I have a screenshot of my savings as well as my CD. Savings. I don't know. Let me go somewhere where I can actually see the screen. Savings account at the moment, 4.3%. That's on a savings account. That can go up or down. A CD account, on the other hand, here's this. If I can get it to focus. It says 5% at the top. There we go, 5%, 11 months. February is the maturity date. And at that point, I will have the opportunity to roll it over into a new CD account. The money that I put in originally, plus the 5% interest that it generated me, plus more of my own currency if I choose, I can roll that into a new CD account. The 5% 11-month term deal, that was a limited time offer, and I caught it on the last day, so I jumped on it. And at the moment, rates are going to be different. The offers will change, but at the moment, if I had to set up a new CD, I could do a 12-month term at 4.85%, which, if that's still on the table come February, that's probably what I'm going to do. I can do an 18-month term at 4.75%. I could do a 24, 36, whatever month term. You could do, you could do a 4, 5, 6 year term if that's what you want. If you have reason to believe that rates are going to be low for years and years and years, you can lock up your currency at a high rate for several years down the road and just rack up all the interest. But this is all a way of playing the game. And like I said, most people don't realize that there's even a game to be played. Most people have no idea. Most people don't know the difference between high rates and low rates. Most people will be like, oh, rates are going up. That means my credit cards are going to charge me more money because I bought a bunch of sneakers with lights in them because I thought that they look cool. I bought a bunch of stupid stuff that I didn't need, and now I can't pay it off, and I got to pay all this money in interest, and rates are going to be going up now. It's going to be even more expensive to pay off these stupid little sneakers. That's what a lot of people think. Oh, rates going up, all my consumer debt is going to be more expensive. Failing to realize that if they switched up their strategy and became a little bit more financially literate, actually make some money. See, right now, a lot of savings accounts are offering high yields. Mine's offering me 4.3. That's higher than the general headline inflation number, according to the CPI. CPI claims 3%. Savings account giving me 4.3. So technically, beating inflation there. Now, obviously, have I been blurry this whole time? Now, obviously, not everything across the board is 3% when it comes to inflation. Some are higher, some are lower. Some are actually negative. If you compare the year over year, some specific pieces within the CPI report are in the negative year over year, which means certain components within the CPI report, certain categories, are cheaper today than they were a year ago. Negative inflation, deflation. Certain things are about 3%. Other things are between 0 and 3%. Certain things are higher than 3%. But anyway, I'm just saying what the savings account is offering me in comparison to what the CPI report claims. 3% versus 4.3%. And during normal times where we're seeing 2 to 2.5% inflation, generally we're not seeing high rates during those times. Not insanely high rates. So right now, I view this as an opportunity to earn some interest income while I save up for an investment. I have 2 or 3 ideas of what I want to do, and we're currently living in high rate world, which is why this video is mainly geared towards that. We're not living in a low rate world at the moment, but we will get to that point. Rates will come down, rates will lower, and when that happens, I will reassess, reevaluate, and re-strategize. I'll say, okay, I'm not earning the interest income that I was. Let me take those dollar bills out of the savings account that is no longer a high yield savings account, and I'll put it into something that stands a far better chance of earning me more than what the 4.3. Like, for example, I could put it into the I could dump it all into the S&P 500 right now if I wanted to, and see an average annual rate of return of 8% already adjusted for inflation. Closer to 10.5% if you don't factor in inflation, but 8% adjusted for inflation. With a 1.5% yield. That sounds pretty good. In fact, that sounds a whole lot better than a savings account at the moment, but I don't know if that's exactly what I want to do with those dollars. I'm still deciding, and I have time to decide. I have all the way up until they cut rates to decide. And when rates get cut, that's when I will move the currency. And I have until February of next year, so roughly 6 months from now, September, yeah, about 5-6 months. It's August as I'm filming this. Yeah, it's August as this video is coming out too. I film a lot of my videos in advance. But I have until February to decide what I want to do with my CD account. Do I want to roll it over, which I'm almost positive I'm going to do. I have no reason not to. And maybe I'll take some of my savings account dollars and include it into my new CD. And then as for the rest of the CD, that right there is what I'm undecided on. I have a savings account and I'm saving some currency. I'm riding the high yield wave. I don't know 100% what I'm saving the dollars for. But as time goes by, the decision is becoming more and more clear. I've narrowed a couple things down. I had 4 or 5 ideas before. Now I'm down to 3 ideas. So that's when I will stop utilizing a high-yield savings account. I'll stop utilizing a high-yield savings account when it stops being a high-yield savings account. And when rates are low, I can take into consideration leveraging money, borrowing money for cheap, and investing those dollars. Personal loan, a business loan, mortgage, these are just a couple of examples of things that people can do. For cheap. When we eventually and inevitably get into a point where we're living in a low rate world. But right now, that's just not the world we're living in. We're living in high rate world right now. This is high rate town. High rate country. So at the moment, people walking. You go this way. I don't want to get somebody on camera. I don't even put myself on camera. I don't think they'd appreciate me putting them on camera. But that's the difference. And most people don't realize that there's a game to even be played. Most people have no idea how to play the game because they don't know that there's a game to be played. When rates are high, you can make the most of that. You can capitalize on that by saving in a high-yield savings account or a CD. And when rates are low, you can leverage money, you can leverage dollars, you can leverage debt to acquire assets, use the passive income that it brings you to build equity within the asset, and make money off of it. There's really no losing here. There are just a couple of different ways to win. That's all. Something to think about. Something to talk about. I'm very curious what your thoughts are. If you can head on down to the comments and let me know. Anything and everything related to rates right now. I personally don't care about anyone's opinion on Jerome Powell or this going on, that going on. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about money. We're not talking about people. We're not talking about the chair of the Federal Reserve. We're not talking about politicians, and we're not talking about idiots. We're talking about money. We're talking about money here. This is about increasing our financial IQ, not lowering our general intelligence by talking about stupid people. Talking about stupid people on repeat makes you a stupider person. So that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what increases our financial IQ. We're going to strategize, we're going to game plan, we're going to brainstorm, and we're going to talk about the difference between high rates and low rates. We know what high rates are, the general idea. We know what low rates are, general idea. But do we know how to maximize gains, maximize profits, maximize money? Do we know how to play the game? I'm new to the game. I'm learning how to play the game as time goes by. I'm learning new ways to play the game and new ways to play the game better. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's a game. And it all comes down to what world we're living in. High rate world, low rate world. Depending on what the world is looking like and depending on, how the economy is, you have to change your strategy. You have to bounce back and forth between wealth preservation mode and wealth building mode. See, that's why, here's the last thing I'll say, that's why a lot of 401ks, they have a target date fund. Let's just say your target, retirement year is, let's just say I'll say 2060. 2060. So you go the next, 36, 37 years. As time goes by, at the very beginning, it'll be much more aggressive. And as you get closer and closer and closer to your date of retirement or expected retirement year, it'll become slowly but surely more conservative. It'll become slowly but surely more bond heavy. See, the strategy changes as time goes by, and your strategy has to change as time goes by as well, and depending on what the world is looking at. You can't have that tunnel vision. You can't be all in on one particular asset class for your entire life. You have to diversify, and you have to lean more heavily in one direction than the other. You have to step out of your comfort zone to make the most, to maximize everything, and to capitalize on as much as you can based on what the world is looking like and what the world is doing at this time. There is a time that's smarter to be investing in this asset class versus that asset class, and when the economy shifts, one becomes better than the other at that time. You just have to evaluate. You have to be strategic. But anyway, I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. When it comes to leveraging money, what's an example you can give about how you have leveraged money in the past, or how you plan on leveraging money in the future? And then when it comes to capitalizing on and making the most of and riding the high yield wave, how are you doing that right now? With rates being high at the moment, how are you making the most of that? Head on down to the comments and let me know. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive bonus content. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. Got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs, and a bunch of different designs, many of which are helping us raise funds and awareness for different charity organizations. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. Sugar-free, low-calorie, packed with a whole bunch of vitamins, over 50 different flavors to choose from. This one is Bahama Mama. It's my top 3 of all time. I recommend it. $5 off your first order. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. Any amount, even as little as a penny, it still works, it still counts. You still get your up to 12 free fractional shares. And they got a promo going on right now where if you tell 3 human beings that you know, just click the little invite button, send it to 3 people, 3 of your friends. It's that simple. Webull's going to give you a guaranteed $300 worth of free Apple stock with the chance of winning all the way up to $3,000 of free Apple stock, which you can take and hold on to, or you can sell and use the cash and buy something that you'd rather have instead. We will link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know one more time, what are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video when it comes to maximizing and capitalizing and making the most of high rates right now? See, a lot of people complain about high rates, failing to realize that you can actually benefit off of it. And a lot of people also complain about low rates, failing to realize that you can actually benefit off of it. Do you save when rates are high? And do you leverage when rates are low? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.